joy in unity, victors in the struggle for their right. We've won freedom's fight, all one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by God's good hand. Let us all her people join as one, brothers under the sun, all one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our pride. Dignity and peace meet Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, all one, strong and free. Praise be to God. Bless our great nation. Free men we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, all one, strong and free.
We will remain upstanding as we hear a word of prayer from our brother Kaira Wongani, representing the student movement. Brother Kaira, can you pray for us?
Lord, Abba Father, we thank you for your mercies. We pray that we decrease so that you may increase. Let we disappear so that you may appear. Give us the auction to function so that we may flow deep in the sequence of your mighty gracious revelation. Amen and amen.
Thank you so much. We shall remain upstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, in my preamble I said today the Patriotic Front and Zambia are mourning. We lost two of our beloved colleagues, friends, brothers, in the name of Devi Kaunda and Dani Kasongo, who were brutally murdered by the UPND. May their souls continue to rest in peace, and may we observe a moment of silence for Brother Devi and Brother Dani, and for all those fallen soldiers who have been murdered by the UPND. A moment of silence, please. Wechiri wechakale kafisa memuliwe omuno panameshi yatumine muliwe Thank you so very much. May we be seated. May the souls of our departed heroes, brothers, uncles, sons, continue to rest in peace. Akawawawa! One Zambia! One Zambia! Before we start, walikuwa Chimwela, PF, JK, Chester, Rich Busy, Wile, Shenki, Felix, Kayombo, Nyuduno na Nafuti, DJ. Thank you so very much, JK, Chester, Richie Busy, Wile, Shenki, Felix, and Kayombo Tununa Nafuti. Kasoja muntu. Shuwa kangi wako na kutenga kwa chape na ngu musician umozi la ngutizimo. Atofunokala president kwa makulima nyengwe. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker, the first one to open this show, has served as a member of parliament from Mbabala constituency in Southern Province under the UPND for 2 terms, 10 years as member of parliament. Join me in welcoming Honorable Ephraim Belemu. Honorable sir.
Ediga lunguwe jagwa Mbalewane jagwa Ediga lunguwane Mbalewane jagwa Pala ukenda mwe jagwa Pala chalo chalo.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Ordinarily, this should have been a very joyous occasion because we only have a few days before we elect and usher in His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwarung for yet another term. However, we've been disturbed because this is against a backdrop of 2 innocent souls murdered whose only offense is to exercise their freedom of conscience, as so many other citizens in this country have done. That should never be so, and it was not intended to be so for political parties or contests of political parties. May their souls rest in peace. Sad indeed. Well, my names are Ephraim Belem, and I was a member of the UPND and member of parliament from Mbabara parliamentary constituency from 2011 until the 6th of April 2021, when I made a conscious decision to resign. And I must add that I was an ardent and probably overzealous member of the UPND. However, to leave the UPND, contrary to what has been sought in the UPND narratives, that I was bought, that I was sought, underlying that actually is an insult to so many citizens who may have entered politics like myself with ideals as opposed to with riches. The assumption is that, yes, Ephraim Belem, because he didn't enter politics using riches or fronting riches, therefore is on the market to be bought or sold like a tomato. That is not true of the many millions who are going to vote on 12th. They have made their own decisions based on what they have seen. I'm always inspired by the sons of Issachar in the Bible who understood the times Israel lived in and what it ought to do. And I always want to understand the times Zambia is living in and what it ought to do. And for doing that, I must never be called names, because that's how God has made me understand by His grace. And I want to say, unfortunately, the UPND as a political party is only a political party on paper. In terms of practice and function, it has ceased to be a political party. It has become a machinery to divide and destroy this country. That's why in their narratives, if you listen to them carefully, they will never tell you about how they intend to develop this country. But they'll tell you about who's black in this country and how themselves they are white, almost declaring themselves as demigods, that we must worship their leader and their members. That is not fair to a country. That is not fair to a country. Political contestation must be based on ideas and what they want to do. It's not about abracadabra. Swear me at 10 hours and 12 hours things will change. That is not politics, and that's not how you spur economies to develop. We are not talking about abracadabra here. We are not looking for a magician in a president. We are looking for a president who is a leader, who inspires this nation, who create building blocks for this nation to prosper, for this nation to unite, as opposed to abracadabra. And the narrative is very simple. Everyone is black and they are white. And they will feed that to your children, they will feed that to my children, they will feed it to whoever has access to social media. That's one of the most dangerous, things the UPND has done. To feed the toxic substances in our children, in our homes, and in the citizens. And to instill fear that citizens can't make a decision. I am a Southerner, and a true Southerner for that matter, through and through. However, I don't agree. Ndimutonga ukweni, agatika butonga kumapanza. However, I don't agree with the agenda of the UPND and its leadership to isolate my region, to isolate and abuse my province, and use the individual's name as a general descriptor of who a Southerner is. A province cannot be isolated because one individual has aspired to be a president, and then tell everyone else, sit back, don't be anything else until I become a president. What if God has not given that individual to be a president? A Southerner is anyone from Kakua Bridge up to Chief Momba. And in there, people are free to make their own decisions. This is not the first time that we've had in political contestation. I've said I've been a member of parliament. To be asked to continuously boycott, to continuously be abused. For those of my colleagues who are in the UPND or from the UPND who understand this, that even within the UPND, there are things that I could not do because I'm told you are a Southerner, you can't. And it even went to the extent of saying, in parliament you can't sit on this seat because you are UPND. You are a Southerner. And that was not coming from any other political party apart from the UPND itself. That is being abusive to a region. That is being abusive and drawing back a region. I would rather we move in together and join the rest of the country. Look, you people, it's very easy to tell how a dictator behaves. They'll find a scapegoat in every situation. They'll blame everyone else except themselves. Hitler, in the early days, in the Weimar Republic, blamed the economy on the people he called stabbed us in the back, the Jews. What followed was mass killing. As we see today, the UPND has developed a narrative which distances itself from any situation this country is going through, which is hard, even in denying the effects of COVID on an economy. I'm not surprised that at times God has a reason why certain individuals have been denied access to executive power. Kuligamboleza pamwicho batalereri tatulibaleza naleza wakuyimagulera. You must agree that God has not allowed you to hold power. It's not me. It's not me. It's God. Go and wrestle with God. Don't injure people. Don't maim people. Don't destroy people. Don't run a narrative which distances one particular region or province because you as an individual, you want to lead the country. How about us who don't want to lead the country? I just want a fair share of development in my region, in my constituency. By the way, His Excellency visited us during this week in Smaubi, in Mapanza, where I come from. And he was inspecting a project that was undertaken, the first ever government project of a secondary school in terms of infrastructure from the time Mbabara became Mbabara. The rest were by colonial masters. Now, why would I want to continue fighting such a person? And why would I want to isolate myself from that kind of development? Today, the UPND is opportunistic. They wake up and tell you how black people are, but never about what they'll do. Somewhere I read in their books that they want to reduce the size of government. But they will never tell you which size of government, because government has 3 branches. Is it the legislature they want to reduce? But people have been saying they want more constituencies. Is it the judiciary they want to reduce? People have been saying they need more judges and magistrates so that the cases move faster. Is it the executive function? We all know that the size of cabinet is decided by the constitution and is written in black and white. So what are they going to reduce? You must read in between lines. The only authority they could have maybe was to reduce the size of the civil service or public service. And I've been seeing some of my colleagues in the public service clapping. Somebody's telling you, I will fire you, I will remove you. When they say reducing, they are talking about firing people. That's why they will not tell you which branch, which area. We must move away from that. I don't think this election is about chancing. I don't think this election is about chancing. It's about a party and its leadership that is going to inspire development. I was privileged in National Assembly to be the chairperson of the Committee on Energy, Water Development and Tourism. And I know the firm foundation that has been laid by the PF under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwanungu. For example, the energy policy has been reviewed. The Electricity Act, the Energy Regulation Act, the Rural Electrification Act, those are laying a foundation for us to develop in the next 5 years. Not somebody who wake up and say, abracadabra, abracadabra, I will improve electricity in this nation. No. I'm aware of the Batoka Gorge. I'm aware of the Kafue Gorge, which His Excellency was just commissioned not too long ago. I'm aware of the studies that are being done in the Kaoma area on wind energy, in the Kafue Gorge area on wind energy. I'm aware of the massive investment in terms of exploration in the Lake Tanganyika area. That is what will inspire this economy. That's what will bring energy to this country. Not abracadabra, swear me 10 hours, 14 hours, things will be like that. No. This country needs more serious leadership. And that is my plea to the Zambian people. Read in between the lines. Don't gamble this country on the 12th of August. Let's vote for a party and a president that has begun to lay a foundation in major sectors of our country. I thank you.
Manja, 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 manja. Hey. Honorable Belemu, bapasa ngoni manja fundi.
Mbalewani, Jagwa,
Clear, precise, straight to the point. No manyengwe, just facts. Zikomo kwambiri. Honorable Belemu, balumba kapati katala. The next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Honorable Wasu Tikamba Kutinkana one, Honorable Chiteme Alexander.
Muchibwato! Nsuminisheni, allow me to join Honorable Belemu to offer my sincere condolences, not only to the families in Kanyama. In fact, let me say this. Aba bantu bofuna kutuluvyanya bawera kuno bambobe pawenye kutibepa akangi okwepa wenye ambopa ya bantu bachenchena bantu abantu kukanyama ngawe tukola bila chapa kanyama tenta bile kuchiranga labila nkoni kuikerenge aya sawe benze kwasu kukuma chenchenta bantu abala sama naife tina maliro pano bantu bafwa leka nenkujeni nenu funonkala MP lelo muntu asakanyantire muntu mzina yangu muntu asakanyantire muntu mzina yangu mzina ya president yo mzina ya chipani lekani bantu akuike mponi because of respect and ideas, ideologies. Takapitamo bantu bakukana kaya akupenda nereka ukalufuna kolo chikwatiso patikija mwanakazi akakukana nishakukana kwa sira tunakomuyakini lomba ungozipatikije pakalomba mwambu pana bantu pakalomba ya bankondo kuti mumfunyepo Edgar Lungu nanga Edgar Lungu achita chinji masiku onse tulabira ujangoni bantu vochenti jazona the truth when all the countries the world all over is talking about COVID, you won't find one single member of the UPND that is going to come and tell you that we have a bad economy today because of COVID. They failed to explain it. Let me begin to explain it to you. I am attending COVID. What we need to begin to do ni kufukama tiambe kupempera. Kuti mulungu atingweko chifundo yasire matenda. Pandu aya matenda ngazi azasila. Kale za pale ya mama kungani. We will continue, the world will continue, our economies will suffer, and our families, our very, very single units will suffer. Today, mubambo kuya mkubepa wenye kubantu. Awe PF ya chitachinji. Awe mtengo va vintu vya pamulu. Niwa PF na kawalala na chitachinji. Ekuja mpon kuti the problem why we are having high prices ni chinji. Have they tried to explain it to you? No? All they do is condemn. That's their end game. But look at us as a country. Even if we decided to close down, we were already closed out. Etivalira. Maboda kuboswana evala. Kirundu evala. Konse kuzaire evala. Kukongo evala. Konse chala kumanuta etivalira. But now you need to begin to understand what that does to an economy. It means that food becomes scarce. Over just a month ago, 2-3 months, maybe a month and a half, we were grappling with the prices of onion and potatoes. Saka ya onion yezo tezo gula mShoprite sikiste kwacha. Yesira muno. Teamba tola ku South Africa huko. Saka ya onion 120. How is that got to do with Edgar Lungu? Nyanke, how has that got to do with the president? We've been having flash floods since the 70s. We've lost water. Our power generation reduced. Our capacity to consume increased from a minimum of 5 million people. I'm speaking to you as a minister, immediate past national planning. I deal with statistics. So our generation capacity from those days, from the colonial days, up to this date, it was the same capacity. Today, awera mwana lumeoporoka bwino mutali wa bwino. Tapanga malaiti. Lomba muza ngatiya malaiti mchala vuchita ni what happens? Our industrial base also goes down. There is no production because there's no energy. Ngakulia malaiti na kupika simunga pike. Kanonga muna malasha namba na malasha namba tukani because ne minister wa climate change. So you need that generation of a renewable resource in energy. So when you begin to do that, and you begin to tell the people to say the PF has failed because of there's no production, is it the PF's fault? Edgar Lungu opanga mvula. Edgar Lungu ni mulungu. The design by God is what we are going through today. Today, lelo. Ola yangu benzo imba pano. Nchito bali. Uyu hapa Antonio Mwanza imirira hapa ni DJ. Lelo nchito ali. Etivalira. Bayangu bonse nabala bonse babayiche utuya kugeza ko sisi. Ali nchito. Ni PF. Ni PF yaleta COVID. PF yaleta COVID. So muntu ngawera na wenye. Mumumbwira kwenye wake. Mwamujirabu na kumujirabu kuti ni wenye. Uli wabu fi. Tuebe. Londolola. nga wabuka lero 10 kolo kwa landed economy walachinja pavudu ukachita shani ukachinja shani kwamba kubepa abantu kwati nchama chakaomboka tinalishwe kwa aba amabwe paka wafira mu bebe ni abantu efe mukabachitira mwiraba bepo obufi ama politics yakola ati nkesa achita yalipwa akanani kantu kalipa bwali you cannot continue to lie to people. We ran our economy and we did right in this hall. I came with His Excellency the President and the immediate past Minister of Finance. We came to introduce our stability plan. And I have said this before and I'll say it again. There is no other direction that we can go apart from bringing back stability and growth to our economy. And if we were not going to be doing that as PF, I myself, Honorable Alexander Chiteme, was never going to be part of that PF. But because His Excellency hears and listens, he heard when we went to Cabinet and said, Your Excellency, we have to stabilize our economy and we have to introduce back growth into the economy. And that's exactly what we're doing. That is the mandate of the PF, and if you look into our manifesto, you will see that we have done exactly what we're talking about. And when I talk about this, I can talk in every other sector. I can go into the education sector. Kale, tenzorwira kuyapa yunza hapa. Tenzorwira chawa basi duweka wakawakali ya ma 6 point, nyaku ya paunza. Lero nchoboka. Lero nchoboka. Kuli konse ungalute iliko university. Na ama bazari government ya ikirako. Asikuuza chana ku CBU. Konse yaliko. Everywhere. When the president stands up and says, we don't want to leave anyone behind, he means just that. We are not leaving anyone behind. They can come with their lies. We will still stand on the truth and we will stand on fear. And I still believe that we are still the new hope for our people because of our inclusive policies. Today, I am talking. I come from the Copper Belt. I am not Bemba. My father is Lenji. My mother is Ngoni. But I have been accepted in a society that does not belong to me. I can speak the same language as Honorable Belum. I have not been segregated. I have been included. That's how inclusive our government is. Muchibwatu!
Ziko Momanjas minus Bamboko. Thank you so much, Honorable Chiteme. Cameraman, I want you to zero in on the ballot paper. That ballot paper, where you see the boat, next to the boat there is a box. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching this program, pali next to the boat, that's where you put an X. Niepoika X, epa kubika X. They say that you know a leader or you know an individual by the way they keep their maid, by the way they keep their garden boy. You can't say you have a heart to keep a nation when you are failing even to take care of your own maid, your own bodyguard, your own driver. Abantu bale chula womba nabo. Then asikutina teka echalo. Kutu wateka shani chalo, maid wobe, baka boy wobe, bale chula mayanda. Ladies and gentlemen, the next act, you can't complete Chida Kuri Azmai. Majani Mururunda, the devours.
Kateka tukwete nuyu wine fielungu. Kwele na Zambia letu kuma kumatwi. Kateka tukwete nuyu wine fielungu. Ichikwanga tumwena kumampalanya. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Tetulimbo kukyuse tulepi mona. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Ikishali musande tulepi mona. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Utepa wensubule bomba. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Zikacha kwa dunga le bomba. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Mugasho musuma awamya banganda. Where bale munega wino. Kateka nangro musuma. Alenge chalo chakwa chile wama. Imwe nanu shile fimona. Nanu shile fimona. Imwe nanu shile fimona. Imwe nanu shile fimona yo yo. We can't let them kondo twapa pata mugizani nesheni. We can't let them kondo twapa pata mugizani nesheni. Wapere na sambia twaba no mulomo tuwa fiecheni na bashilingire. Tugalete umbi ya gambe wanu tuwakana. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende fielungu. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Na Zambia letu kuma kumatui. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Ichikwanga tumwena kumampalanya. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Tetulimbo kukyuse tulepi mona. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Ikishali musande tulepi mona. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Utepa wensubule bomba. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Zikacha kwa dunga le bomba. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Yusifa mezi tulenyi mona. Wemisepela tule sekelela. Bana mariketi. Vale twakanya makapito tule bomba. N'uyuwine. Kateka n'uyuwine. N'uyuwine. Kateka n'uyuwine. Tamufaya kwikala tondolo. Mufaya yonse kudandaula. Ishita mule mona sonte po. Zego wesuta washa mona mukanono. Nebon sonte po. Makulu nepi patala bingi. Nebon sonte po. Emiseo no kula no busumasa. Hey, nebon sonte po. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Hey mama, nebon sonte po. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Na Zambia letu kuma kumatui. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Ichikwanga tumwena kumampalanya. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Tetulimbo kukyuse tulepi mona. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Ikishali musande tulepi mona. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Utepa wensubule bomba. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Zikacha kwa dunga le bomba. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu. Zambia kondoloka. Ichintu chintu mwene. Ibukisheni balilandile basata. Na mishila vya chakwaeka. Bali abambi bali bebele. Twikatane kuli basata bali kene. Bali kutuikeleka na kutepo wenga chitafi ya finye. Kwebo kateka tukwete na tumishiba ni lungu. Kwebo kateka tukwete na tumishiba ni chagwa ekavye. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Na Zambia letu kuma kumatui. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Ichikwanga tumwena kumampalanya. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Tetulimbo kukyuse tulepi mona. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Ikishali musande tulepi mona. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Utepa wensubule bomba. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Zikacha kwa dunga le bomba. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu. Kateka tukwete n'uyuwende. Fielungu.
A big round of applause for the vows. I didn't even pay a lot of attention to my brothers who are jumping up and down. Kai men sharia offense. Mwanakazi nkufuri. Me, I am a DJ. DJ Mourinho aka Kandolo Kunyansi. Azurozi vakunulisha virimba kwa kalingalinga. And these are the issues that Honorable Chiteme raised. We know the difficulties that all of us are going through as a result of COVID. Because they have closed the supply line, production lines. All those have been closed. Everybody knows. So these prices of commodities, partly is because where we get these things, for instance, in South Africa, they have been on lockdown for 476 days, more than 1 year. It's not a problem of President Lungu, it's a problem of the COVID-19 and other factors. The next guest represents Kankoyo 1. And Abena Kankoyo, ngamule voter, kuvotera fye, ngamona board next mwabika po X. Pali kansela, pali MP, pali mayor, na pali ba president ba Edgar Chagwalungu. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to welcome Dr. Bishop Eddie Chomba Wara.
Hey. Uyo anebwele la posori
Mulibuchi muzuwelwa chani muchi vyepi muliuli mulibuyani mwapinduku chongoloshi mwane mudingai mwane mulibwanji mulitiani mulishani mukwai ni hao one Zambia. Na inewine, I want to join rank and file ukutotela intungulu shishandi ishilipano. Intungulu shishandi ishilipano. Nalalanda pafintu fitatu or 3 entry points. Why Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu should be voted back into office on the 12th of August na Patriotic Front nentungulu shonse eshove manike. Today, some of us tatwimbila fya malumbo ifile chitika. Unless we know, unless we are sure, unless we are factual. No kulanda kwandi, as I make a case for Dr. Lungu, our president, I'll be talking to people up and down the country. Some of the things I'll talk about in Tungulu Shimwamona, who are seated here. They were my members of parliament, and they were my ministers, and others my members of Central Committee, who were leading me and telling me what to do. This president, President Lungu, Vali Tulanga, has shown leadership iyakubalila po by condemning ama politics ya bukakala. Wherever he has gone, he has condemned violence in the strongest terms. Even where you find you to are not too nono, tule wele myoto kashabaka teka, muma province yambi, valeto wana amabwe. He never has ever used Vakapokola abashirika to retaliate. He is a man of peace. Conservatoire mutende. And that everybody has seen. Na inawine, I wish ukukonten tungulu shandi, ishili uku, to reiterate their resolve, the president's resolve, and the resolve of the Patriotic Front to condemn violence, ukwipayana, sosombia ponesha tumba, ifitala, uluambo, ichongo, and everything that happens. Ubutungurushi. True leadership comes from God. If wenga venda Zambia, you have heard we are a Christian nation. And ingatuatila intambishesu. Our own cultural heritage, our tradition, mutende kubantu bonse. Tualikwatana ma Muslims. Aba tufunda, venanga mwakumana nabo ni salamu alaikum.
umutende ume na imwe mwasuka walaikum salam wa barakatu fwebe na Zambia mutende takwaba mu Zambia ichilonganwe chawo inepo okuteeka where they used violence, at least not in Zambia. Umutende is not a subject. Umutende is a byproduct of someone's relationship na Yesu Kristu na Lesa. Umutende is not an ideology. Peace is not a subject, is not a phrase, it is not a topic. It is a name of a person. Ishina lyakwe ni Yesu Kristu. Before Jesus was born, amashina yonse akwata bali mwindikapo limweshina kulika sesema ukutila omwana okafyalwa, you shall call him the Prince of Peace. Chivinda wamutende. So when you see Jesus Christ of Nazareth, ngamwamukwata, once you have the mukakwata omutende. Are you surprised why in Tungulu Shandi, why bakateka konsoko bale abalanda pa mutende? Do you know why? Because bali kwata Kristo mu mitima yabo. Abwaba chita ifishiri ifyo tabakwata Kristo emulanduine. The pockets of violence we are experiencing are as a result of two things. Mwebe na Zambia mumfwe icha kubalilapo umwenso uwaba opposition. Then anga babu kalyonse chile tunta ngecha pamwana pamutwe. Every day chile tunta tukachita shani inga tualusa chile tunta. That's one reason. They have nothing to tell abantu. That's why they've resorted to violence. Mu PF twali kwata olupapulo twalibika fyonse 27 chapters fyonse vichitika nga yimwe olupapulo lwenu lulikwi. Abadenu bayimba olwimbo mwayayimbulula tetupange fyolobe kunu bakoko twafuma balela ne panticha pamuto chile tunta yo bala chitarigi tamula kwata ma elections ati bala chitarigi usekwali befyo mwebe na Zambia. Be aware no kuchita reject ama leaders who espouse violence ama politics ya lumani aya abufi aya chongo. Those are the politics we should frown upon. Ama leaders abalete ntulubundi na propaganda no mushobo ushakwali wa umuntu wasala omushobo akafyalirwamo umuntu ushakwata amanu alala umushobo wandi usuma uwowete usuma. You can't say kumitundu yonse kwali babantu ababwino kwa bana bashababwino, and you cannot tell iyo kano fyeine kano yumutundu. It can never help us in any way. Tribalism and their own selfish interest ikatwale chichalo panshi nga chakutila ifwe tatuvotele wino. Selfishness breeds greed. Akaso ubupondo na bwenobu bulete fintu fya bipa. Umuntu wakwata akaswaka bipisha na selfishness bukaitemwe abangenko kweisha kwate nondo. Ikoko isha kwate nondo ya kwata fyendusha elwe ndusho po yapone na palalula. It is the same like vamo ama opposition leaders ebo twa ishiba nangumuka sanfeshani nkoko. When the gallbladder opens up and it spills everywhere, it will be bitter. Vakwat ni jiki ponsopo vatone na kocha. Let me go quickly to why I want to make a case for PF and the Patriotic Front. In Miake Afmako 10, we have strived to set the pace for sustainable economic development despite of ifintifya tuponena all the challenges ranging ukutendeka mu 2014, the fall in price of copper, the 2015 energy crisis that led to the countries ukuya mukushita ama light pamutengo ukalamba mwali umfwile mubulimi in terms of agriculture mu 2016 ukufika mu 2017 attack of armyworms mwaibukisha. In 2018 bamulamba the floods that resulted in government government baletukana eyo baleituka yalilisha abantu abaendero na bamulamba more than 2 million families. Kwena mwe bantu nangu tapasoswa 2 million bambi twalishwa baliteka nefitekwe fingi bambi baliteka enkoko ishilingene nempendo shabantu bambi baliteka engombe ishilingene nempendo shabantu bambi baliteka embushi ishilingene nempendo shabantu tetufu myepula waisalisha necha kulekelesha kuli ificha tuponene chikalamba ni coronavirus dubbed as COVID-19 from 2020 kufika na lelo. Despite of all these things, we have remained resolute to the economy so that it doesn't collapse. Mwebe na Zambia mwivepwa ama politics na governance shari pusana. You can politic ama leaders ababali ya pawala nshinina ifelo tuwale isa from 2011 even before as the opposition tuwalikwete shadow cabinet. It was there. No mbaba ne school abuwata fi. Eko haya iyo ale isa ale fumakwi. Governance therefore yaba. The foundations for sustainable economic development lies ichakubalirapo muri infrastructure development. Ndepuisha. Transportation, power, water facilities are all public goods that benefit everyone in the economy, and Zambian government's provisions of goods and services critical to the economy. Transportation yaba important. Mweneni miso tuapanga. Apa. Ukufuma nomba ku Charleston okuya mu Cairo Road to Aleppo sa 1 hour 40 minutes. Now 11 minutes. 11 minutes. Lusaka decongestion. The construction of 7,000 kilometers. Muzambia Monse. Lusaka decongestion project. 98 kilometers. Amalaiti na valeta yafuma pali 1,788 to 2,800 megawatts. Glory, hallelujah. Amen. Tutulande. Ndepwisa, give me 1 second. Chibalashi dam. Newa aliko ni nebo. Na alituele kumansa. Cabbage eo valeri manomba. Na repu na tomato na onion. Eo valeri eto na kumufrila. Eo valeri tola kuluwa pula. Nifo tuwa vikileko. Newa aliko ni nebo. Sianankanga dam. Ku Southern Province ni nebo. Ndondi dam. Vantuma babon sabari hapa. Kawiko. Vantuma. Ushemwe vantu. Chinshi tuwala tampiro kula tukishanye nsele. Aba tutangirira ma freedom fighters bali tutukanine kwensele ifwe kubomba na leto mutende uwa kutila tubombele pamu tuikatane na bali aba shibo kwa kufota iseni voteleni vakateka va Edgar Chagwalungu na PF no mutende utwalilile na mutotela pakalamba.
Manja. Another big round of applause for Dr. Bishop Eddie Chomba, Kankoyo 1. Wora balungu bali palwa inkume Chiteme Belemu Kankoyo 1 Honorable Giveluwinda Honorable Ronald Chitotela. I think pakusalama ministers ukaba ukukosa omuntu enomba because in parliament ashfula sana. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we welcome another senior member of the Patriotic Front, member of the Central Committee, and Pambashe 1, Honorable Ronald Chitotela Inkalamo.
Do,
Amaka! Amaka! Alero abarumendo bachilalanda natirekenero nshiratampo okulanda insumi nefyo bere mwachilalanda bantu babere munatukokola nabo mu parliament for 10 years inga mwamona bambi bachinja bambo okulanda ati ba civil servant tabaka batampi ubuchikubumo nshamulumbule shina ni ambassador wa ileba chitani advise bantu aishire ku office kumyandi I say that to you munensune from diplomatic world not to peshamano because you can't attack all the institution of governance that is self-defeating. That is a statement he used. My friend, the High Commission from one of the European countries, I will not mention you, because he planned and called judges as criminals in white wigs. He planned and called all the civil servants as PF cadres that is going to fire once he assumes the office of the president as president of the Republic of Zambia. He called the police that they are PF cadres. The army, he called them PF cadres. The High Commission one day, he came to pay a score. And then I told him, look, what kind of a governance are we going to have where senior members of this country will have no respect for the institution of governance? Then the High Commissioner told me and said, no, I'm going to have a meeting with him at his residence today. And I will advise him that attacking institution of governance is self-defeating. So, filianga mwaba munawalela ndate fiabo, babebele fiati chefi yako pakwe wati. Ubepi abena Zambia nga filia uli abebele ati. Bebi ati nka mingi shenchito nga na apasa, pakwe batumbanga wapasa, eroke seboma. Inshi kushibili bae bati. Wenu ya shoni na 10 hours. Kushamule kutika? Mwamfa? I'm sworn in at 10 hours, at 14 hours. The daughter will appreciate. Brakata. Ichalo chadikwata system, governance as a system. I'll speak on the development agenda for the Patriotic Front because President Ilungu had given me a privilege to superintend over different portfolio functions as a minister, and not just as a minister. He gave me to sit on how many? 9 subcommittees of the ministerial different functions. President Lungu allowed me to sit on the Defense Advisory Council where me and Honorable Given Rubind and the other about 5-6 members of the cabinet would advise on the matters of security. So I'll talk about development in the defense and security, the National Advisory Council. He gave me the opportunity also to be the vice chair for the public-private partnership, to sit in the ZPPA board as one of the board members. And he gave me the privilege also to chair the hosting of African Union 2022. So, Ichwabena Zambia, where I come from, we say, Akama na kalaventulo, kalakama. If Zambians forget where we are coming from in 2011, and today we start complaining anyway, naba Israel ba Bishop Chomba leseri ale bafumya kubusha ale batwalo kwa kuikala bwino bakenene fyakulya fyabangeri abakumurumana ati turefa enshi ubuchushi burabu inatwala ikalira kwa fala. When PF government took over in 2011, the UNIP ruled this country for 27 years and they left 2 universities. 2. In fact, they built one, the University of Zambia, and turned the Copper Belt University, that was it, into the Copper Belt University. The MMD ruled this country for 27 years, and they left 0 university. 0. PF has just governed for 10 years. For 10 years, and you have constructed 7 universities. Surely, friends, nangpeta mutasha nanguri mwana wandoshi. Can you compare 27 is equal to 2, 20 is equal to 0, 10 is equal to 7. Who's performed? PF government, UNIP, did in the period of 27 years, they did the total of 9,000 kilometers of the road network throughout the country.
9,000 kilometers of the road network throughout the country for 27 years. The MMD ruled for 20 years, and they did 2,000 kilometers of the total road network for 20 years. PF has ruled for 10 years, and we have done in total 15,000 kilometers of the total road network. Surely, who has performed between the three governments? So when people say, anyway, vatata vati mwana wandi uchushi bwabange nsala omuntu ngai kutala befera chila umfuika bantu nganayi kusuma kuti watuka n'omukashi nomba yakwipikira obwali walya walaba nefera chila umfuika maka abayiche. The youths are being used to fight. Nomba vatata vati the problem of being young, you have never been old. And the goodness of being old have once been young. Ubwatya bwakuba omwayi kitawula abapo omukulu. Nomba obusuma bwakuba omukulu nali bapo omwayi. Ero n'omuntu atiira ati umwana ashira afu atiira ati kumbobalalya. Kapwepo alera ndati Africa tuwaseba na kutuwaberera oluserero teti tulabe. Tuilabeko tulefuma. Tuilaba uko tulefuma na atotera waberemu. To show that courage. We don't want the politics of 1972 that made Kaunda to declare one-party participatory democracy because of the confusion that was happening between UNIP and that party that was led by the Nkumbula. No, that we don't want as Zambians. We have passed that. We want a Zambia that is called Zambian. In fact, we don't have 73 tribes. In Zambia, we are more than 100 tribes. Where are you living the South Africans who are living in Zambia? Where are you living the Malawans? Where are you living the British, the Americans? So Zambia is above tribe. Zambians have a mandate to vote for President Lungu. Look at the energy sector. Bishop Chomba spoke about that. In 2001, Zambia conducted a census in 2000. And then the census statistics had projected to say in the next 10 years, if there's nothing that will happen, in 2000 the population of Zambia was 7 million. Zambia's population is going to double. Eventually we shall have a situation where the country will go into a total blackout because the capacity of the generation that we have in Zambia will not be able to meet the demand. No government took a bold step to invest in the energy sector. Everybody was scared. Everyone was scared to begin the Kafue Power project. It took President Lungu after 20 years. Tell me, if the cost of constructing the Kafue Gorge was done in 2000, are you telling me we should have spent the money we spent now? But President Lungu has said, let's suffer the present and enjoy the future. Let's invest now for the future generation. And that is the reason why the Zambian people will have to vote for President Lungu. Mwebena Lusaka, I had accompanied His Excellency the President to China. The Mulungush Conference Center you are seeing being built here, it is out of respect by the Chinese government to President Lungu. And they gave us money free to build this conference. Impiaba to Peresha free $30 million ukisa kure conference facility here in Zambia. It is because of the respect the international community have for President Lungu. It is not just the Chinese. The Indian came and offered also to build another conference facility along the road as you go to the airport. And the only condition they said it will be named after Mahatma Gandhi. And these are all in the hoofing. Imagine inenga ninkwata relationship no muntu na mweba timuneine nkakwafwa no mbelo abantu baisa tiyo chitotera tature mufuaya mule mwana tuli omuntu wandaira kaletecho aba ku Eastern Province burabu shikuna aleta amba pa TV. We went to Japan again with His Excellency the President. Then the Prime Minister Ebert Senzo had committed to do a bridge, Ruangwa Bridge, for free. They even sent the engineers to come and do the assessment. The Japanese are going to do that bridge because bali kwata relationship na bakateka emulandu enendeba iwe mwale ubebe babululu bobe ushirwira mutembo wa munankwe no wakwe upo ushirwira mutembo wa munankwe no wakwe upokwa okutumpa kwa mwaichi ekyamufumya pasamine kyamutwala pareloka mwebe na Zambia tuibepekwa na badanali umfa bamobaya kulunte iyo chabipa sana nga mwasala badani mwasala ine na lemo nati ukaba development for the past 10 years takwaba development ero na aseka nati kwena we muntu walini we minister wa finance nechibe mbeko mfuma chitila ati alaka chiraka mbushi kasengulepo kekele namenshi yakutalita ashimya muliro iyo yangu akabomu nchishanya kuti washoko bako kupalema wafwene na kukulu bali abashikulu chirefo okubaseba nyapanto na minister wa infrastructure uriya wini omusebo balela ndapo Zakaria Chanda Runte Road na balembere miku 7 na Chinese barabarefo okubika ko farm block kwa irati kalungu farm block na basana offer to alafu ayo olupia tupange omusebo banje beri ati takwaba economic value tetintu wale ko omusebo ero nabalole shati kwena efiraka poepo aevere ati umwane chiwerewere ekala mungande ya maratanyira na wishi kumuchibalelo bushene kuti naisa mulusa kana alaba kupambashe venero bali ba minister ba finance bali labire kulunti ati takwaba economic value lero waya kwa bena luntena bakwata economic value lero bakweba ati shikulu bushakanshepo mwaba busheni mwe ile romwatu ibukisha ile roto wakwata value. President Lungu has developed as Minister for Tourism and Arts. I can tell you, I'm a proud former Minister of Tourism and Arts that the artists in Zambia today are proud. They were being looked down as though they were not people. He told me, we shall change the name. They will not be artists, but we shall call it a knowledge industry because they can create business out of their knowledge. The knowledge industry must be supported. He's the first president in Zambia to have allocated 30 million and he has given it to the artists so that they can begin their own business. And for the first time I was checking the record. He's the first president, by the way, having adopted the president of the National Arts Council of Zambia to stand as a member of parliament for Munad. Imama artist, uwale mirole kesha aponga kateka wenu ama artist vamupera ati kabiye kumunali keminine. A former teacher, you think when he becomes a member of parliament he's going to forget about you? No. Ingala batukamweba ati yama akala kama. President Lungu directed me for people of Northwestern Province. Chingora Sorwezi Road was in 3rd phase. He said, no, let's bring it to the first phase. Today, Chingora Sorwezi Road has been completed. There are township roads in Mwinilunga that we began. Surely, vane, ubomba bomba shan. Nifidi echibe mbache batu ukupatire. Tati rabusu mabobe na ngufinofine na wama. Ngati akutuke ashimpa mwana kamuti. Na ngwefirafi ne President Lungu apoloka ngetete bambichira bakali pano obusuma burabwini echo muchibe mbatwe bati ibala lyali malungu ala nangfe bamutuke bakabwela bale bati corruption natumwe ba umemwe ikale nifi. And this is what pains me, Honorable Rubin. When people were alleging a lot of irregularities in President Lungu's government using the Ministry of Housing and Infrastructure Development. For the past 4 years I was a minister there. Ministry of Housing and Infrastructure Development never produced any audit query. And it is quiet. No one has talked about that success in the media. takwaba. There was no report of citing the ministry for irregularity. There was nothing. And everybody is quiet. Ngakwali akabi, ye mayo. Kuya nina na pachu. So balungu ngabalebo mbabantu ifisuma. But one day I was asking him, sir, and he told me, I'm president. You remember the people of Zambia? When he appointed me as minister, he sent me to Dundumwezi to go and begin working on the Kalomo Dundumwezi Tezi Unamwara Road, where he got 245 votes against 30,000. He said, Bachitotela, in Yama vote in a constituency and in Zambia many Pambash. We must take development across the country because Zambians who vote for me based on my performance. Hasn't President Lungu performed? Everybody said, the cost of living has gone up. Obviously, who doesn't know we have COVID? Who doesn't know the industries, all the manufacturers are not operating at the highest level? Who doesn't know? In fact, but President Lungu is God sent. The sala babombi. Ile fiaro fionse fina mparamano ba Malawi ba Congo ba nani ba Isala. Lungu said no. President Lungu said no. My mother was a marketeer. There are people who survive on hand to mouth. Aba ya mukuta antika. Efe wale tuwa mkabinet. Ingashi tishere ya chitashani. Ali ya nomba mbesa lile. Wakanji mina mwale panono. It's very important. Wakanji minati chawama tufe kuri korona okuchiro kufane nsara. Ile ruwaba nensu kukongo waba isere. Aba nensu kumara waba isere. If you come to Ruapula, Congolese are full buying maize at 400 kwacha per bag. If you go to Tanzania, they are crossing to come and buy things in Zambia. Go to Nakonde. Nombanga na muika na murusaka imwe. Atumu anashienda. Ero muiraba mwebe na Lusaka mu 2011. Ama potozi ali mu Lusaka bani. Ati bakali emisebo turedi emisebo. Pali tuachibana okusta spare part twalaya ashito obunga twali omusebo. Pali na achibana okukokola ka diru ka achibana okufaoka na afika bwangu na pogolu pia na ali omusebo. Turedi emisebo fwe bena Zambia. Nembwe bene mule kokotaka. Look at my Nasoko hospital. My friends. It is not possible, it is not easy for a government to run specialized hospitals across in Africa. Takwaba not even in South Africa. In a new park hospital, that's a private run hospital. President Lungu has built two specialized hospitals in Zambia. One in Lusaka as you go to the airport, and military. The Manasoko Military Hospital, the Kalindawalo, Chinsari, Levi University. District hospitals across the country. Lastly, Kazungura Bridge. Abantu pantu wamibari but it's a donor-funded project. No. Kazungura Bridge has been built by the Zambian government and the Botswana government. Lupia rwabena Zambia. Era bena Zambia fe bachitire kwali bechi kuricha chikamukazungura. Icho tatwala ndapo. Pali apa afumino bulalo. Pali umushiwa leitwa Lumbo Village. Ili emishi afya ni abantu kubafumya mufya ni kuya bakulira manda ya malata bonja abalekala mu mushura twabakulira ne school. Ichi bomba shana bayama bachame mfumu itilati wakwirika omutima takakwirule wakwirika eribwe akakwirula nangufera omushitira bedi ubushukuti ayesa ayi maisa na mukukulo bantu abantu bamo bamufulo. Nomba Zambia is a Christian nation. We don't want to disturb this development that we have embarked upon for ourselves, for our children, and for our grandchildren. President Lungu bushumo mwale umfanabe push. Umfwa mwansa panon. Ule umfwa mwansa. Na tuikara 01 na ipishati saa. 01 you are still working. 05 inamubuka. Zambians are expecting me to deliver, but to tell her I must work for the good of Zambia. That level of sacrifice, that level of commitment, He doesn't want to be with his family. He used to tell us, even if I am quite close, my children are Zambians, and Zambia is my relative. Every Zambian counts. That's why today the PF manifesto, after investing in infrastructure development, if you ask me, I have summarized it as human-centered manifesto. Every Zambian count. For us to drive the development agenda from 2021 to 2026, investing in Zambians, bankrolling out the backyard industry so that we become the net manufacturer and the net importer of goods and services to our friends across the continent. He is the second president out of 6 presidents that have been in Zambia to build an international airport. The first one was Kaunda. On the Copper Belt, President Lungu has built new Simon Mwansaka Poepwe International Airport, and he has rehabilitated 2 major international airports, Hari Mwanga Nkumbula and Dr. Kenneth Kaunda International Airport terminals. Tiramwale mwena kuba sungu ifi akwenda uma terminal tubes. Ala na Muzambia balungu na bachitashani na abafisha. Lungu ngatalipo chabani bangwele, lungu ngatalipo bonshabani bangwele, nala izandamuna lelo muletabwa, nala izandamuna lelo muletabwa.
Manja. Thank you so much, Honorable Stotela. Thank you. I know you can spend the whole day explaining the developmental projects for President Lungu. Another round of applause for Honorable Stotela. Thank you so much, sir. We need to go for a little break. The next artist to perform represents all of us who come from the hood, the ghetto, sell to come from the Tupac wa Zambia. DJ Faka Stango for General Kanene.
Lungu
bantu andi alipeta patulula sasa kamutundu iyai onani zamene akuchitirani pakantawi kang'ono jeni timupase na 2021 apitirize zamene anayamba onani zamene akuchitirani mukantawi kang'ono vipatala masukulu youth empowerment yonse eti Kalungu muntu ali na 5 states tanga sambe kuti achokepo iyai PFF kusebenza kwemve isebenza adisi anakutari na hivi vipani vakumbuyo tukaleka kutasha PF tuzakatasha chiani chipani ngati chisebenza mwatashako
eti Kalungu takuloko ale eti Kalungu takuloko ale nangumubepe manifesto ya shani Lungu Chapa eti Kalungu takuloko ale eti Kalungu takuloko ale nangumubepe manifesto ya shani Lungu Chapa wanshimule poyo kwe bati mufunyepo wanshimule poyo kwe bati mufunyepo natubuleke ya kwishe bilimo ambile Lungu Chapa zozazozi Lungu ni yanasa zozazozi Lungu ni yanasa zozazozi Lungu ni yanasa zozazozi Lungu ni yanasa Segura meso kari mumanja ndiye kako Segura meso kari mumanja ndiye kako
Akawawawa ulaliei akawawawa ulaliei
eti Kalungu takuloko ale eti Kalungu takuloko ale nangumubepe manifesto ya shani Lungu Chapa nati eti Kalungu takuloko ale eti Kalungu takuloko ale nangula bantu mubabe pobuti Lungu Chapa
eti Kalungu ni president wamenali na ule mukubantu olo chambe mfumu ndamumizi zonse zimukonda so president ali na ule musuo yesa kuchosapo iyai ali na ule mukumachenjezi na kwasibusa bonse andi ni president wamenamvera dandaulo ya bantu kwamile sikuna piga chitukuko plan ali nayo kudala mupase ni kuti 2021 atirizise zamene anayamba so eti Kalungu suo yesa kuchosapo iyai please
eti Kalungu takuloko ale eti Kalungu takuloko ale nangumubepe manifesto ya shani Lungu Chapa nati eti Kalungu takuloko ale eti Kalungu takuloko ale nangumubepe manifesto ya shani Lungu Chapa
big round of applause for General Kanene Tupac wa Mzambia na kadansi kawo winai. I want to recognize Comrade Peter Walia, who is the president for the Zambia Association for Colleges Student Union. Comrade, you are welcome. I can see Comrade Sarah Mwenya. You are welcome, comrades. I can see my fellow comrades representing universities and colleges amidst us. You are very much welcome, comrades. And don't worry, the next one will be Amayus. So don't worry, we have plans for you. Thank you so much to all the artists. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker is a seasoned politician. Vanono abantu bawina elections as a member of parliament on 3 different political parties in the same constituency. Vaiminina pa ULP bawina. Vaiminina pa UPND bawina. Vaiminina PF bawina. Abantu bamkonda Zaero, member of Central Committee. Wagiven Luwinda!
Jilandijisa, jilandijisa, ijisi, jilandijisa, ijisi bama jilandijisa, jilandijisa, ijisi. My dear fellow countrymen and women who are watching this virtual rally, I still have pain in my heart, tears in my eyes, when I saw the pictures of those young Zambians who were butchered mercilessly on Friday. I've been wiping my tears ever since. My tears have reminded me of the fact that this country does not deserve to have anyone in the midst of all of us pretending to be a politician and yet in the comfort of darkness is actually celebrating the death of Zambians at the hands of political violence. I am reminded of the time when I was working closely with Anderson Gambera Mazoga Mwana Muboto, when in 2001 some people in the country were very upset by the results of the 2001 elections. Some of the supporters of Anderson Gambera Mazoka almost took to the streets to destroy. That gallant son of Zambia stood up and said, "Stop it. No life is worth losing because of my desire to be president of Zambia." May his soul rest in peace. I am reminded again of the elections of 2008, for which I was privileged to be campaign manager for one gallant son of Zambia, Michael Chilufya Sata. Many of us believe that Michael Chilufya Sata was robbed of those elections. And some started to mobilize, and some were already seen on the streets of Lusaka. That gallant son of the soil stood up and said, "Stop it. Bloodshed should not be associated with me and my name." May God preserve the life of Michael Chilufya Sata. I remember in 2015, one gallant son of the soil being pushed left, right, and center, and being told he did not deserve to run a political party, the Patriotic Front. Some people took stones at Mulungushi International Conference Center. The gallant son of this country said to his members, "Stop it. I shall go and be elected at the conference in Mulungushi." May God Almighty preserve the life and good health of his son, Edgar Chagwa Lungu. My dear fellow countrymen and women, I'm a very privileged person in the sense that I have seen the ascendance to power of two men in this country. And I'm reminded of the old adage which says, you know a person's character when they are under pressure. I was there when Anderson Gambela Mazoka was called to the Lord. And I was there to watch how one man ascended to the position of president of the UPND. I was privileged to also be there when Michael Chilufya Sata was called to be with the Lord. And I witnessed the ascendance of Edgar Chagwa Lungu to the presidency of the PF. Therefore, I can watch and say to you, I was there, I can testify to the response of the two gentlemen under pressure. Whereas in 2006, we saw spears, we saw fights at Mulungushi International Conference Center when this person was elected president of the UPND. And before then, we also heard how this one person and his supporters were going around the country and saying, it was a Tonga. The successor shall be another Tonga. In contrast, I saw how this humble man of God, a true lover of his country, when Michael Chilufya Sata left us in 2014, this gentleman said to all of us, not me. Members of the Patriotic Front had to say, it is but you. This is the difference in response to pressure. Whereas one was mobilizing even before the burial of his predecessor. For another, he shed tears in public without shame because he was touched. Today, we have not even buried those two young Zambians. We have heard many citizens, we have heard politicians condemn the act, and I await to hear condemnation from this one other gentleman. I challenge him that before midnight tonight, if he truly believes he has what it takes to lead any organization in Zambia, let him come out in the open and condemn that barbaric act. As for me, no life is worth losing because of the desire to be elected in office. No Zambian life is worth losing. And I say this on behalf of my beloved president and my beloved political party, because I've heard my president, I've heard the running mate, I've met many leaders of the PF shedding tears and crying because of that senseless loss of life. So my dear brothers and sisters, in the next few days, I would like all of us to reflect on what happened and to strengthen our spirits and our resolve to continue to campaign peacefully. Shame upon those who, whenever they go out in public to campaign, they are followed by a trail of destruction and a trail of blood. I pray to God that only He should avenge the loss of that blood. Politics, my dear countrymen and women, is a battlefront of ideas, not physique. It is a battlefront of ideas. And when you come to a time such as this, when people are campaigning, the citizens want to hear your ideas. The citizens want to know what you promised them. I'm extremely happy to have been associated with President Edgar Chagwa's vision. And I want to enjoin all of you citizens to look out for this document. Because in here is presented Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF's vision for Zambia between 2021 and 2026. I challenge all other political parties in the last few days before the elections, please do produce your manifesto. Let the Zambian people assess you based on your promise. For Edgar Chagwa Lungu, he actually signed this document. He appended his signature as testimony to the fact that he takes total responsibility for what is contained in this document. And he pledges to the Zambian people that whatever is contained in here, he will forever live to fulfill it. I wish to remind you, my dear brothers and sisters, talking about visions, that in 2015, when Edgar Chagwa Lungu was running for elections for the very first time as president, first time, remember that. In 2015, when he was running as president for the first time, one journalist, very intelligent journalist, asked him, "What is your vision for Zambia?" Typical of Edgar Chagwa Lungu, he said to all Zambians, "I have no vision." He said he had no vision because, as the Bembas say, "Uapianengo, apana namabala." He was taking over from his boss, he was taking over from President Michael Chilufya Sata. And he said, "I'm going to fulfill the agenda given to me by my president." This is the reason why up-to-date President Edgar Chagwa Lungu still remembers his boss. Wherever he goes, he still gives credit to President Michael Chilufya Sata. I was amongst the founders of the United Party for National Development. And I cannot say the same about the successor of Anderson Gambera Mazoga, because the one who took over cannot say, "Uapianengo, apiana nambabala," because they are two totally different people. Yes, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu did not have a vision in 2015. You, the Zambian people, gave him the mandate to govern this country. For 1 year, he governed this country. When he came back to you in 2016, he came up with a manifesto. If you look at that manifesto, it is a build-on on the Michael Chilufya Sata manifesto. 2016 to 2021, Edgar Chagwa Lungu delivered on his promise. This year, I heard some people saying President Lungu, because he's in power, he does not require to produce a manifesto. He should just account for what he has done. No, they were wrong. President Edgar Lungu, in this document, accounts for what he promised he would do when you elected him in 2016. And in this same document, he tells us what he will do between now and 2026. For us, and my friends have demonstrated, what President Edgar Chagwa Lungu promised and what he has achieved. It is there for all to see. And what he's talking about here is not an illusion. It is not abracadabra. What he's talking about here is founded on the background of what he did between 2016 and 2021. My dear brothers and sisters, some people have asked, how come he has come up with these beautiful ideas now? How come he didn't start with them in 2016? Every person has to walk the path for them to understand. There's a Bemba saying, I can't remember it, but in English translated literally says, the one who passes through the thorns is the one who knows the bush. President Edgar Chagwa Lungu has been president of the Republic of Zambia, and he understands what the governance of this country is all about. Different from the others who have not yet been in government, because theirs is founded only on illusion and guesswork. President Edgar Lungu, in the time that he has been in government, he has realized we had a lost generation. And this is the reason why President Edgar Lungu's response, when KCM and MCM were saying we're going on care and maintenance, he knew that what they expected was that President Edgar Lungu would kneel down and say, let us negotiate tax. And in which case the tax would have been brought lower than what it is now. This President Edgar Lungu learned from experience, and he said, no, that I shall not do. Instead, hand back those mines so that Zambians can run them. The response from one politician was, this is a very bad decision because Zambians cannot run mines. My foot. How can any person in Zambia today say that Zambians cannot run mines? And yet the last chairman of the CCM was not a foreigner. Francis Kaunda was not a foreigner. Francis Kaunda was a Zambian. And what is surprising is that this person who's saying Zambians cannot run mines says, elect me to run Zambia. If all Zambians put together cannot run mines, how can one person say, me alone, I can run Zambia? If all of us Zambians cannot run mines, then you also are ill-qualified to even dream to govern Zambia. As for Edgar Chagwa Lungu, he knows that Zambians can run their economy. Zambians can run their country. People are talking about the kwacha and the dollar. How dare they even talk about it when they know that the economy is in the hands of foreigners? When you go buying cooking oil, when you go buying detergents, whatever you go to buy, the profits are immediately externalized. And only remnants remain in Zambia. And you expect a magician to increase the value of the kwacha? Edgar Chagwa Lungu is saying Zambians must run their economy. And because Edgar Chagwa Lungu is a realist, my dear brothers and sisters, in the last sitting of Parliament, he called for an amendment to a number of pieces of legislation, one of which is the Zambia Public Procurement Act. In that act previously, it said 20% of all procurements by government will be to Zambians. Yours and my truly president said, no, we shall amend this so that all procurements by government shall be to Zambians unless there is no Zambian who can provide that product or that service. What he wants is to make sure that Zambians run their economy. President Edgar Lungu has gone further in his manifesto, in his vision. after realizing that the major factor of production in Zambia is held by non-Zambians, and most of it is unproductive, he has decided that by 2026, all land in Zambia shall be on title. Not only that, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu has decided that now no person shall automatically qualify for 99-year lease on land, especially land for agricultural development. Because what has been happening in the past is that a person goes and find their way through the system. Some of them go and bribe traditional leaders, and they get tens of thousands of land and fence it off so that other villagers can't use the land to go and graze their animals. And the fellow goes and applies for a 99-year lease and just keeps 20 animals on that piece of land. And yet the vast majority of Zambians are going without a 100 by 100 meter piece of land. President Edgar Lungu in his manifesto is saying now that land shall be alienated and given on lease, but commensurate with the development of that project. If you want a piece of land to do a palm plantation, why should you be given a 99-year lease? You are probably already 60 years old. By the time the lease expires 99 years later, you are 155 years old and most likely being judged by God. And yet you still have a title on earth. It doesn't make sense. The palm plantation might only last for 25 years. President Edgar Lungu is saying, let that person have the title for 25 years. And if after 25 years they're still alive and they still have the energy to reproduce that plantation, then they will apply for an extension. This is to avoid a situation where in future only a few people own Zambia at the expense of the majority. President Edgar Lungu is not only president for the current generation, he is such a visionary that he's thinking about your children, your grandchildren, and their grandchildren. Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu is saying, why is it that 88% of the titles in the country are owned by men, and yet the ones who are producing are women? He has pledged to you, my fellow Zambians, that in the next parliament, the Lands Act shall be amended. As a matter of fact, he is the first president to produce the land policy ever since independence of Zambia. And in that policy, he is saying wherever land is alienated, 50% of it shall be strictly reserved for women. We have a country where we inherited laws from the colonial masters, and the PF inherited those laws from the MMD. And in the law, we say a young man or young woman at the age of 16 qualifies to be registered as a citizen. At the age of 18, qualifies to choose who's going to be their councillor, their member of parliament, and their president. And yet that child does not qualify to own property until they are 21. President Edgar Chagwa Lungu has said this has to change. A child attaining the age of 18 shall now qualify to own property. President Edgar Chagwa Lungu has come up with a clear manifesto. And in his manifesto, he has a clear vision. And the vision goes a modern, industrialized, peaceful, and united Zambia where people live in harmony and access benefits of inclusive development. And he has many objectives between now and 2026. One of which is something that one of my friends spoke about: transforming Zambia into a net exporter of electricity. How has he come up with this? Let me give you the narrative. From 1958 until 2011, 53 years of Zambia's generation of power Zambia was only generating 1,600 megawatts. And by the way, that 1,600 megawatts was only arrived at in 1977 when Super Ken went and commissioned 2 turbines at the Kariba North Bank. From 1977, it took 34 years for Zambia to have President Michael Chilufya Sata and later on to be succeeded by Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And only after that did we start to increase Zambia's generation capacity. My dear fellow countrymen and women, I would like you to just think back. In 1977, Zambia's population was 4 million. In the year 2011, Zambia's population was 14 million. Is there any wonder that we had blackouts? Is there any wonder that there was shortage of electricity in Zambia? Under the governance of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the PF, from 2011 to 2021, you'll be impressed to know that the generation capacity of electricity in Zambia has increased by 1,350 megawatts. For 53 years, we only produced 1,600. In 10 years, we're producing 1,350. By the end of this year, when His Excellency goes to commission the other turbines at Kafue Lower, we shall be saying the PF has increased power generation by 1,950 megawatts. In 10 years, we shall be producing much more power than this country produced in 53 years. My dear brothers and sisters, if you don't want to give accolades to President Edgar Chagwa Lungu on anything, give it to him on electricity. Very soon, before the close of this year, Zambia shall be earning money from the export of energy. President Edgar Lungu wants Zambia to industrialize. And this is because he remembers that this country was on an industrialization drive. Those of my age will remember that Zambia was producing motor vehicles. My first motor vehicle, by the way, was a Fiat 127, produced in Livingston. Zambians will remember that this country used to produce its own cooking oil through a company called ROP. This country used to produce bicycles. I inherited a radiogram from my grandfather, furniture radiogram produced by ITT Supersonic. And President Edgar Lungu is saying, if that time during the Kaunda days, with very few graduates, very few technologists in Zambia were producing cars, were producing Dunlop tires, what about now when we have so many youths who are talented and qualified? And President Edgar Lungu asks, where did ITT Supersonic go? Where did Livingston Motor Assemblies go? Where did Luangwa bicycles go? Where did Mansa batteries go? Where did ROP go? President Edgar Lungu is saying, when we were being told, shout, the hour, the hour, there were some people who were saying, it is ours, it is ours. When the government changed, they privatized. And who are the beneficiaries of that privatization? President Edgar Lungu cries when he thinks about Lima Bank, because Lima Bank was supporting the farmers. The farmers did not depend on Farmer Input Support Program. They depended on Lima Bank. And Lima Bank and its sister Agricultural Finance Company used to give farmers tractors. Today, if you find a new tractor in the village, you even get surprised. President Edgar Lungu is pledging in his manifesto that going forward, he is going to reintroduce an agricultural bank to finance agriculture in Zambia. President Edgar Lungu is promising to the Zambian people that in the quest for industrialization, he realizes that 2 things are missing. One is technology, the other is finance. And President Edgar Lungu is telling you, Zambians, that after the elections of 12th August, he shall introduce the Small Enterprise Development Program, which will replace the CEDO that was killed. And he's going to introduce a financing mechanism to support youth entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs. My dear brothers and sisters, the choice on the 12th of August is not a contestable choice. The choice is for everyone to see. On the 12th of August, you will be choosing to continue to sing my song by choosing unwisely. You will join me to sing Jirandiji Sajisi. If you really want to forget that song and move forward, there is only one, and only one candidate. As for me, my friends, my relatives, and all the people that I've associated with over the last few months, from the time that I was appointed campaign manager, I've traversed the country, and all the people I've met are saying to me, it is no other than Edgar Chagwa Lungu.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause for Honorable Given Luwinda. Camera, please, on the ballot. I want to remind the people of Zambia to honor the lives of Devi, Dani, and all those that have been killed by UPND. Turn out in numbers and make sure you vote for President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and all the candidates on the PF ticket so that we can end the vampire of violence's political career once and for all. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Chester, Shanky, Dandy Crazy, Rich Busy, Vic Mala, Wile, DJ Fakastango.
Bamjaba mulonge kutera kwati mule mbwe 5 billion te kutera yafikana kambi batera bana balana tena kambi balana opposition yalana na kambi yalana simple by looking but it's tough for action me lungu abashara bose ni follow 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 lungu
kopala tikwisa kutawa bomba lunguwe Pie Son tapa shele with the woman po Pie Son tapa shele with the woman po No Bali bakulira mayanda iye mayo Lolo tisetingi ya malaika bataya ya iye mayo Italo bali wanyapa wembo anatarala iye mayo
Vakwaya tivalire niweleke fyo chikonko mwikate vawalya nondo mwachiva